boat to go to Southampton. And he sent somebody with him, maybe a kind of a minder or something, I don't know, but he sent someone with him. I don't think he needed a minder, but he sent someone with him anyway. But he got on a boat in Southampton to go to Canada. And before he got on the boat, that man that was with him gave him a £5 note from John Coney. Now, £5 note was a lot of money at that time. But the thing was, those people had nothing, absolutely nothing. So he got to Canada and he found his way, probably illegally, I suppose, into America and into New York, where he met Jacqueline and Joe Colleen, Jack's nephew, is here tonight, and we're delighted to have you, Joe. So that was the aftermath. That was the aftermath of my father's involvement in the War of Independence and the Civil War. Now he stayed in America until I think it was 1932. So he was probably gone from about 1923 or 24 until 1932. And he did come back, and I suppose one of the main reasons he came back was his mother was alive. His mother had moved from Balmacarby into Clonmel, and that was probably the main reason that he did come by. His father was dead at that stage. So that was the aftermath there. But there was an aftermath for the Dalton family as well. And I suppose it wasn't a good one now. Jack Dalton, Eddie Dalton was very much involved in the War of Independence and the Civil War. He fought at piers there, driving charabancs and vehicles and at various stages and that. And he was a driver, so he was a very useful man to have around. And he often drove Devil Air as well when he was back around Clonmel and around that area. But his brother Jack was a good bit younger, but they were very alike, and they were often mistaken from one another. And this is an amazing thing that probably 5 years or nearly 6 years after the Civil War, Jack was in town one night, and he was to play a football match. The match was abandoned because it was terrible bad weather, and they went into a nearby pub, himself and another. They had a few drinks, and they went to another one there out near the railway bar there, and sometime maybe 11:30 or something like that. They left that. There was another neighbour with them, and they walked the railway line home. Now his body was found on the railway line the following morning, and of course it was likely, I suppose, at the time that he was struck by a train, and that was kind of the story really, that he was struck by a train. But there was no train that night until 3:30 in the morning, the mail train. So the man that was with him left him at some time like about 12:30, and he heard no train. There was no train. So there was a strong suspicion about it, but the inquest is suspicious, a little bit suspicious as well. And a particular Garda who found him, who was notified about the body and came to see him, he gave evidence at the inquest. But a good number of years later, in 1962, the superintendent of the guards in Clonmel called to the Dalton house one evening, and he told them that he was called to the deathbed of a Garda who admitted to murdering with another guard. And he said, look, the family can, if they want to do something about it, it is open to the family to do it. But they had a meeting, family had a meeting, and they decided that they wouldn't do it. It wasn't unanimous now, but they decided they wouldn't, because the judge said, look, the thing is over now, you're only waking up old wounds, and those two guards, they had families and that sort of thing who were innocent and that, like, you know. So that's the story of that, like, and those names, we know those names of those people that were involved. So that's the kind of they're the kind of reprises that did go on, you know, around those times. And there's a lady here tonight now, and she said to us to mention that she's actually living in the Dalton residence now, and she's very welcome here tonight. And I have to say that that residence often get visits now from people from America and various places who come to. Some of them might be relatives, because a lot of the family did go to America, but she's very welcome to all those when they come and that. So you're very welcome tonight. So that's the story, I suppose, the story of the family involvement and the story of Edmondstown and that. So I'm going to hand you over now to Niamh now for a minute, but before that, and Niamh will go to Woodruff, we're going to have a little song, and we have Gerald here. Just to break the spell, I suppose, to a certain extent, we have a girl here who sings the Galtee Mountain By, and she's going to do it for us now. Nicola Ní Cornell. So now you're welcome, Nicola. If she's there. She's there, yeah, she'll be in a minute now. Will you go a minute? She's getting ready. And again, like before Nicola just comes in, if there's any questions, we'll take any questions. I don't know whether we can answer them or not, like, but we'll take them anyway, and sure, if we can't answer them, Nicola, who's very exceptional at research, we'll try to find out the answer. So if anyone would like to mention anything now.
One question, Sean. The two gardens, were they still in Clonmel in 1962?
No, they were dead. When the superintendent came out, one of them had died, and the other man had just died a couple of days before, something like that. Yeah, they were in Clonmel, yeah. So that's the little story. So no questions, no. You're all kind of happy. Yeah.
Could I just ask you to clarify, was the car not an open touring car, distinct from an armoured car?
Well, it was described as an armoured car, like, so I don't know really whether it was an open top car or not, like, it may have been, but it was described as an armoured car. But they really, whatever type of a car it was, they didn't stand much of a chance, really, against the firepower that was deployed against them.
Do you know how many lads were involved in the ambush?
Well, in that number 2 column, or flying column, there were a maximum of 25 people. So with the expectancy that there was 2 loads of troops coming, you could say that there was approximately 20 anyway, I'd say, in it. Now, we're going to hand over now to Nicola, and she'll do the Galtee Mountain By for us.
Firstly, I'd like to thank Sean and Niamh for giving us the opportunity to sing here tonight. So, look, by all means, please join in, because you all know this. It's the Galtee Mountain By. I dream of flying column in 1916 in Galway. Sorry guys, sorry.
Start again.
Yeah.
That was the old version.
Yeah. In 1919 in Carwich on my Tipperary with and green, I'm arrested by free staters and sentenced for to die. Farewell to Tipperary, said the Galtee Mountain Boy. We went across the valley and over the hilltops green, where we met with Denny Macy, Sean Holland and Breen, Sean Mylan and his gallant men. They kept the flag flying high. Farewell to Tipperary, said the Galtee Mountain Boy. We trekked the Wicklow Mountain run. Though hard at night and morning, we were all but free men. We roamed the Dublin mountain as the sun was shining high. Farewell to Tipperary, said the guilty mountain boy. I'm bidding farewell to old Clonmel I never more will see, and to the guilty mountain that oft-time sheltered me. For those men who fought for liberty and died without a sight, may the cause be ne'er forgotten, said the guilty mountain boy. May the cause be ne'er forgotten, said the guilty mountain boy. I think we're not started.
We could give Niamh here all night.
Well, Niamh did ask me to do another one. Now, I haven't sang this before, so just bear with me. And it's Farewell to Balahi. Farewell to Balahi, likewise and the dove, and the green hills of Derry that I dearly love. My thoughts return to you from my darkish cell. So friends and brave comrades, I bid you farewell. For hundreds of years now, we've kept up the fight, and the history books told us of Ireland's plight. So with gallant Francis, I followed the cause to conquer the tyrant and defy England's law. To the hills of South Derry we marched and we drilled, to our exploits in action all Ireland's youth filled. The most dear men in Ulster, volunteers on the run, we gave England her answer from the barrels of our guns. Farewell to Balahi, likewise Tom the Dove, and the green hills of Derry that I dearly love. My thoughts return to you from my darkish blood cell. So friends and brave comrades, I'll bid you farewell. Oh, gallant South Derry, you are forever blessed in the struggle for freedom. You have given your best. Here's the ewes and there's baits and Sheridan and Lee, and inscribe with their names now, brave Tom McAwee. Farewell to Balahi, from my dark age blood cell. So friends and brave comrade, I bid you farewell. My thoughts return to you from my dark age blood cell. So friends and brave comrades, I bid you farewell. Thank you.
Well done there to Nicola, wasn't that lovely? Absolutely lovely. I never heard that song before, so that's a new one on me. Anyway, well done.
I
Now,
have to apologise, we have to go, I'm DJ.
okay, thanks for coming, we appreciate that.
No worries, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
good man. I'm going to hand you over now to Niamh Hassett. And Niamh, as I said earlier, this has been her brainchild here to do this, and she's really, I suppose, following the footsteps of her father, John Hassett. Many you knew him and remember him. He was a great man, a great writer, and he was involved in, I suppose, a lot of commemorations like over the years, and he kept the flag flying in a whole lot of areas, and he was involved in the GA, and he was involved in athletics and that, and he'd be, I'd say, immensely proud of his daughter Niamh, the way that she's kind of followed in his footsteps to do very much of the same. So Niamh, I'm going to hand over to you now.
Thanks very much, Sean. I have a very hard act to follow after Sean and Nicola, but I'll give it a go. So the title of tonight's night is Mapping and Memory, and we actually have a couple of maps. If I can just turn this slideshow off for a sec, and I will put on a little thing. We got funding very kindly from the Decade of Centenaries to bring up a map to try and actually tell the story of Redmondstown and maybe some more ambushes over the next few years. And we're going to let the actions speak for themselves, and you can all fact check everything Sean said against the map. So what we have is a Google map, and we have the characters that we know so far, and we'll add to this as we go on, and the approximate positions they were in for the ambush and their movements in the ambush. So being Google Maps, you can actually zoom in on it, and if anything actually works out for me tonight, there we go. So you can zoom in and scroll down, and you can actually click on the different characters here that are sitting here. There's Dick Dalton. He was a member of the Flying Column. Up here, probably around where the smithy was, that the forge was, that Sean mentioned. Here's Jacqueline, and down here is the machine gun section, and the tree that they felled in the road to block the oncoming car. So you can click on these and find out little bits of information, which we'll add to as we go. I'm trying to zoom in. I'll zoom in a little bit more, and we might be able to click on Jim Nugent. And there's Sean's dad there, sitting ready with his machine gun for the car to approach. And we're lucky with Redmondstown. We actually have a couple of different narratives. We've actually got 3. Now at the moment we've only got 2, but the third one will be added to as soon as I get my volunteer to deliver the sound files to me. But the 2 that we have at the moment are Dan Breen's witness statement, which was actually compiled by Father Clonmel P. Dan Breen actually has 2 witness statements on the Bureau of Military History. The first one is about the War of Independence, but the second one is about the Civil War, and it's highly recommended to read it. It was compiled with Dan by Father Clonmel or Clonmel Laura, and it's an excellent account of the activities in Tipperary in the Civil War. So he goes into a fair amount of detail on Redmondstown. And the second one that we have at the moment is Egon O'Rahala, who Sean mentioned him again, and he was actually at the ambush, so he was an eyewitness, and he was a member of the machine gun squad. So he was beside James Nugent when everything hit off. But we actually have a third account, and that account is actually Frank Norton's account, which we've discovered in in a book, Oscueiliga, which is probably why it slipped through the cracks of a lot of people. So we're going to put that up hopefully this week, and it gives Frank Thornton's account of why he was coming, the disputed account of why Frank Thornton was on his way. So when we get that up, you can all have a listen to it and make up your minds about it. But for the moment, I'm going to actually just play Egon O'Rahil's one, because it's a little bit shorter than Dan Green's one, and because he was there, we might just listen to hear what he said. And as I said, you can check Sean's facts against Egon's memories. But having said that, memory is a deceptive thing, and Egon wrote this many years after the event. So you know, it'll be down to historians and the likes of you and me to decide what we believe. But we will never know for sure anything at this point in time. But I'm going to play it. It's a few minutes. There's probably a couple of awkward pauses in it, but we'll hope that that we can get the sense of what happened that day. So I'm just going to hit play.
We arrived at this position at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. And I suppose that the idea was that we would get into position before there were any people around who would see us. Or maybe that Colleen had some word that a convoy was leaving Clonmel early in the morning. So we took up a position on the road near Powerstown, which is not on the direct road from Clonmel to Carrick, but maybe the bridge was gone on the main road, and this was the road that had to be used. The convoy was expected to be coming from Clonmel, and our men took up positions for about half a mile along the road. Our machine gun squad was at the end of the group. We cut down a small tree. It was really no more than a large bush, and there was a small wall jutting out onto the road. And Nugent fixed this so that he could mount his machine gun on it and command a view of the road for about half a mile, along which the convoy would have to travel, and where they would be subject to fire from the column from both sides of the road. We assumed that we would hear the shooting as the convoy came along, so when the sun came out, as it was a lovely sunny morning, we lay down inside a ditch and we went to sleep.